talk about 10,000 hours is this common thing, which is it's not 10,000 hours, but 10,000 iterations. And the reason I like that framing is because it assumes that you will fail and it assumes that you will get better as you learn, right? It is that 10,000 iterations is a proxy for feedback loops, which means that if you do something and you get no feedback, it's virtually impossible to learn. So when we are doing stuff in the real world, a lot of times the real world will give you feedback loop, but you post piece of content, nothing happens. That is still feedback, it's that it's up, right? But you can still get better. The fastest way to learn skills is to find somebody who's really good and hire them one-on-one. The fastest way to learn skills. I still did this in my early days, even when I barely could afford it. So when I say I learn with first-party data, I give you a handful of examples, but this is a do this instruction list. So number one, you have to do a lot of volume in order to learn, right? I can't just have one sales call recording. I have just one comment that I try and learn from. I have lots of comments that I have to aggregate. Number two is that I analyze the top 10%. So what are the top 10% of sales calls? What are the top 10% of content? What are the top 10, customer service resolution, person? What are these top 10% outcomes? What do they have in common that the other 90% don't have? And you can apply this to any subject matter that you're trying to learn. So that is step 3. You analyze the difference. Step 4 is you figure out the most important details, like the eyes, like the feet, like the whatever. And this is where a lot of people struggle, is that they don't know which part is important. And that's part of learning, is that you're like, there's 6 differences. I don't know which one was the reason, so you start trying them one at a time. It just is what it is. And so the final step is avoid the mistakes that the 90% is making that are keeping them at the bottom, and do more of the stuff at the top 10%. And you just continue to do another 100 repetitions, look at the top 10, try and make the next 100 look like those 10, do it over and over and over again until people are like, man, you're so good at this, you must be a natural. And that is fundamentally how you learn any skill. We saved our money so we could get aggressive. We saved our time so we'd have time to actually do the work. We researched which skills to learn. Then we spent our time actually learning, and we walked through exactly what those 10,000 iterations look like. So what do we do now? Step 5 is you spend the money in the right places. So I think of this in 3 bigger buckets. You've got tools, you've got implementation help, and then you've got trial attempts. So think about that as like, where am I going to spend this time and money? Because you actually have to do this in order to get out. Like if you're just like, okay, I'm taking my time, save money, you're not going to get to 100K, right? Like you have to do stuff too. So for tools, that might mean that you might buy a software too, right? That might mean like a CRM or a landing page thing or school. It's $9 a month. Like, chill. All right. To get started, right? Because for you, like the alternative is you can try to rebuild the entire thing, yeah, or you can just like go to grab a tool that's already there and save yourself some time. So that's what kind of tools looks like. Implementation, this is where you can buy courses, you can buy communities or in school if you're looking to learn anything. You can get tutoring, which I'm a huge advocate of, and for some reason this is like fallen out of vogue. But if you can get someone to just give you one-on-one help, my God, it's so valuable. The next is trial attempts. So that means like, okay, I want to start running ads. Okay, great, well you gotta spend money on ads. Or like, hey, I want to start, making content. You're gonna have to spend money on maybe some of the editing software that goes with that. Like, of course, there are free things and be as cheap as possible, but accept that some of these things are kind of minor investments that will give you huge leverage on your time. So the last step, and the whole point of all this, is to just increase your active income. People look at the billionaires, they're like, oh, they live on passive income. What people miss is that most billionaires who are self-made made their money from making money, meaning they had active income. They had monster active income that they could deploy. Like, you get rewarded for the risk you take on. You cannot take any risk on if you have no time and no money. So you need to go find that risk. Create something that you can put at risk so that you can get rewarded for it. And we do that through increasing our skill sets and our active income. And so you're like, okay, well, those are the 5 steps. So what's the last step? Number 6, not increase your lifestyle. All right, I know guys who are making $40,000 a month and made it for years, great sales guys, and spent every single dollar. I've got multiple friends who didn't start saving money until their 40s. And then we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just like lived that way, right? You want to be rich, not look rich, right? This is about 100K in the bank, not 100K in revenue. Everything minus food and shelter is your profit. I say this as once things started working out for my gym, my first gym, I was making about $20,000 a month in income, personal. I was still splitting the room, paying $400 a month in rent. Because I was like, well, dude, I need to stay. Like, my goal was not to stop at $20,000 a month. I was like, I want to go big. And I'm going to need all this cash to open a new location, to learn more stuff, to attend more conferences, all of this stuff because I wanted to learn. And so basically the day that you stop spending money on learning is the day you decide that you do not want to make money. And so zooming all the way out, the 6 steps to getting your first $100,000. You got to stop spending money so you have money to spend on the right stuff. You got to stop wasting time so that you have time to invest in the right stuff. What stuff do you invest in? Number 3, is you have to research, you gotta pick, you gotta look. And the best way to look is not to risk it on something that you don't know, but find something people are already spending money on. The fourth is, now that we know the thing that we're gonna focus on, we're gonna eliminate all the other distraction and we're gonna spend all our time learning. Number five, the money that you do have, you wanna spend on tools, implementation help, and attempts, trying it and failing. And then finally, once things actually start working, you never get to the 100K in a bank just by increasing your income. You also got to not let your lifestyle take back over so you can finally make it. And the reason this is so kind of near and dear to my heart is that when I had the first 100K, it was the first time that, I remember looking at Layla and I was like, man, I said we could do nothing and fuck off for 3.5 years. And it was crazy because, like, I think about that now, right? Two people, $100,000 in savings, 3 years. And I wasn't thinking about it in terms of investments or anything like that. I just knew that I didn't have to worry about rent. And that was when I was able to really start thinking long term. And so I want as many people as possible to get that point because many of you have bigger dreams than that. But you can't get there until you pass this checkpoint. Like, it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, until you're not thinking about food and shelter, it's amazing to want to change the world. But if you got to pay rent tomorrow, you got to pay rent tomorrow, right? And so this is the plan to help you do that.
अल्छीलाई रहेछ आज कसम चाहिँ त मजाले एउटा गाना सिक्दिउँ है अब है
स्वागत छ मेजरमा आज चाहिँ हामी सुशान्त केसीको मायामा भन्ने गीत सिक्न गइरहेका छौँ आजको लेसनमा हामी गीतको प्लगिङ सिक्छौँ र स्ट्रमिङ गरेर पनि गीत सिक्नेछौँ है त सबैभन्दा पहिला गीतमा युज भएको कर्डहरू हेरौँ है विदाउट केको म सिकाउनेवाला छु गीतमा युज भएको कर्ड ए मेजर डी माइनर जी मेजर अनि डी मेजर सो यति चारवटा कर्ड ए मेजर बी माइनर जी मेजर अनि डी मेजर अब गीतको अगाडिको प्लगिङ हेरौँ
अब भिडियो चलाउनु भइसकेको छ आज नेक्स्ट भिडियो